You opened your phone this morning before you got out of bed. You told yourself it would only take a minute. That minute became 20, and the first hour of your day was already gone. You did not choose distraction. You just did not choose anything else. And somewhere between the screen and the silence, the day began without you. Subscribe for daily discipline. Procrastination is not laziness. That is the first thing to understand. Laziness is the absence of desire. Procrastination is desire blocked by something else. You want the result. You avoid the action. That gap between wanting and doing is where weak habits live. And they do not arrive suddenly. They are built slowly through repetition. Every time you delay a task, your brain records that decision. It notes the relief you felt, the tension that disappeared when you closed the document, when you switched the tab, when you told yourself you would start after lunch. Your brain is not broken. It is doing exactly what it was trained to do. Avoid discomfort. Seek relief. Repeat. This is a dopamine loop, and it is running your schedule. Here is how it works in simple terms. A task appears that requires effort. Your brain reads effort as a mild threat. It generates a feeling of resistance. You respond to that feeling by moving toward something easier. Your phone, a snack, a different, smaller task. The easier thing delivers a small reward. Your brain marks that pattern as successful. And the next time a difficult task appears, the same loop runs. Faster, more automatic, harder to interrupt. Over time, avoidance becomes the default, not because you are weak, but because the loop has been practiced thousands of times. The cue is the difficult task. The behavior is avoidance. The reward is the absence of discomfort. And the cycle reinforces itself every single day you do not interrupt it. That is what you are actually dealing with. Not a character flaw, a trained behavioral pattern. And trained patterns can be replaced, but only through deliberate, consistent interruption. The first step is isolation. You cannot fix everything at once. Choose one task you have been avoiding. Not a category, not a goal. One specific task. Something with a name. A deadline, a clear output. That task is your target. Now identify what happens right before you avoid it. Most people skip this step. They know they procrastinate, but they never examine the trigger. The trigger is usually not the task itself. It is the moment before the task requires full attention. When the blank page appears. When the first line of code needs to be written. When the email has to begin. That moment of unstructured start is where the loop activates. Your job is to remove or reduce that moment. Here is how. Make the start pre-decided. Not in the moment. The night before, write down the first physical action. Not the goal. The action. Not finish the report. Write, open the document, read the last paragraph, write one sentence. When the morning comes, there is no decision to make. There is only the action already decided. Decisions require energy. Energy runs low under stress. Pre-decide to protect the moment. The second move is friction. Add resistance between yourself and avoidance. If your phone is the escape, put it in another room before you sit down. If the internet is the path out, disconnect before you begin. If you check messages as a delay tactic, close the application first. You are not relying on willpower here. You are changing the environment. Willpower is inconsistent. Environment is controllable. The easier you make the work and the harder you make the escape, the more likely the loop breaks. One admission here. This feels uncomfortable. The first time you sit down with no phone, no tabs, no exit, and face the task directly, something in you will resist. That feeling is not a signal to stop. It is a signal that the loop is being interrupted. Stay in the chair. Do not negotiate with the resistance. Give it 5 minutes. 5 minutes of staying is often enough to shift the loop. The brain starts to register that the task is survivable. And slowly, a new pattern begins to form. The third move is replacement. You are not removing behavior. You are redirecting it. The urge to avoid will still appear. It will look for a path. Your job is to have a prepared replacement ready. That replacement should be physical and brief. Stand up. Walk in place for 60 seconds. Return. Drink a full glass of water. Return. Write the date at the top of the page. Just the date. Then continue. These are not productivity tricks. They are pattern interruptions with a low barrier. They keep your body in the work environment. They prevent the escape from completing. And over days, they begin to train a new default. Discomfort arrives. You do not leave. You do something small. You return. That is the new loop. Day 1. Identify the one task you have been avoiding longest. Write its name on paper. Beneath it, write the first physical action required to begin. Not the goal, the action. Set the time you will start. Remove your phone from the room. Begin. Day 2. Before you sit down to work, close every application not related to the task. Start a timer for 25 minutes. When resistance appears, do not leave the chair. Write one sentence, one line, one calculation, anything that counts as movement. Then continue. Day 3. Notice what time of day your avoidance is strongest. Most people have a window. Late morning, after lunch, early afternoon. Schedule your most avoided task before that window. Not during it, before it. Work with your biology, not against it. Day 4. Review the previous 3 days without judgment. Ask one question. Where did the loop activate, and what triggered it? Be specific. Then adjust tomorrow's environment to reduce that trigger. Day 5. Introduce the replacement behavior. When avoidance appears, stand. Walk 60 seconds. Return. Do not check the phone during that 60 seconds. The replacement must stay within the work environment. Otherwise, it becomes another escape. Day 6. Hold the structure even when motivation is low. This is the day most people quit. Not because the system failed. Because the feeling changed. Feelings change. The structure does not. Sit down at the same time. Run the same sequence. Do the work. Day 7. Do not evaluate whether you feel different. Evaluate whether you behave differently. Behavior is the record. Feeling is weather. If you held the structure for 6 days, you interrupted a pattern that may have been running for years. That is not small, but it is also not finished. 1 week corrects nothing permanently. It only proves the correction is possible. The next week, you begin again. Same structure, sharper execution. The days are already passing. They pass whether you have started or not. Every morning you wake up with the same decision in front of you. Do the thing or feel the relief of avoiding it. One of those choices compounds. The other one drains. You already know which is which. You have always known. The only question is when you will stop choosing comfort over correction. That moment does not have to be tomorrow. It can be now. Subscribe for daily discipline.